Hello, my name is Nicholas. I'm the writer of the review blog Planned All Along. The reason I'm doing this video today is because I've recently opened the Patreon page and I was actually hoping to give future patrons and really all my viewers just a little video for fun, or, well, to give something anyway. I started Planned All Along on July 19th, 2013. It was just for fun. I was kind of bored when I started that. It was like a boring summer day. University hadn't even started, so I was looking for stuff that I could do. I decided, hey, I have a bunch of games. Why not start a review blog? I mean, it's not like it's gonna take so much time out of me, right? I'm gonna be able to continue my university classes all while I'm reviewing games, right? 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 No. Seriously though, at first it was just a little fun project I was doing to occupy myself instead of wasting my time doing other stuff like, I don't know, watching stupid videos on internet or, I don't know, something. As long as it was better than just spinning my thumbs like this. Seriously, it's really boring to do that. So, what started as a little project ended up becoming much bigger than I expected. Planned All Along has now had over 50,000 views. Just for information, that's half the entire population of my city. That's a lot, actually. Or maybe it's my city that is really small. Doesn't matter, okay? In the end, the views that get racked up very quickly have encouraged me to try even harder and evolve my blog beyond what it was at first. When I started in 2013, I didn't even have video. Actually, I started video like late in 2014. I started during the summer vacation this year for my review of Gamer. Back then I was just writing 2,000 words per review, which is still pretty long, but I love writing. I love making jokes too, and I love giving my opinion on stuff. And I love hearing the feedback you people give me when I get any feedback anyway. And so, as Planned All Along grew, I realized it was really gonna be something big. I'm not expecting to be famous, just a little bit known, and that's already enough for me. It's already pretty good. But at the same time, I must admit it's really fun to know that, hey, you've got some recognition. It's really great. Which is why I started expanding on the whole thing. At first I was reviewing only games and making a few top 12 lists every once in a while. Now I've added video. I'm reviewing movies too, but mostly movies about video games. I'm always having a long review for the anniversary, because I don't have the budget to make a movie. Hell no. That's kind of sad, actually. And now I'm adding more video. I've added the Patreon page. Actually, that's the reason I'm doing this video. And now I'm even starting this little vlog series. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep a tight schedule on this one, though. I still have a lot of work for university, but I'm almost done. Then I have to find a real job, because this blog isn't gonna pay the bills, I'm afraid. Don't expect me to keep such a strict schedule on these videos, as well as I do for my normal reviews, but hey, it's already that. I mean, it's already a video. It's better than nothing. So I decided, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna have a talk with my readers, my viewers, my patrons. No, wait, I have only one patron so far. Never mind. Have a talk with the people who want to hear me speak. And I decided to do a little retrospective on the early days of Planned All Along. But before I begin, just a little something. You may have noticed I have a very prominent accent when I'm speaking English. Yeah, I'm fully aware of it. I can't let it go. I was born in Quebec, in Canada. I grew up speaking Québécois. Yeah, French Canadian. Yeah, I know. But Québécois anyway. including the dialect, the curse words. No, seriously, we have a whole bunch of curse words. Qu'est-ce de petit tabarnak? Ah, this is the true poetic language of the low people, isn't it? So yeah, please don't make too many references to my accent in the comments. I'm well aware of it, and don't annoy me with that, because I know and I'm trying to work on it, but it's really difficult. So, without further ado, let's begin! My first review was Crash and Spyro Super Pack, which is a Game Boy Advance game that contained two Game Boy Advance games called Crash Purple and Spyro Orange. The whole point of each game is that its protagonist meets the other protagonist, which makes it a crossover, literally. The idea is that Ripto, which is Spyro's enemy, and Cortez, which is Crash's enemy, have teamed up. And their first idea is to pit Spyro and Crash against each other by having each hero believe that the other is responsible for the new trouble. Yeah, it's a pretty common crossover story. But this time around, Crash and Spyro decide to team up once they realize that their opponent is not the real deal. And from there we get two games that get very different, except they're still really much the same. That was my first review, so it's unpolished, it's really not as good as the recent reviews I've done, but it's very enjoyable still. I don't have as many pictures in it, it's not as beautiful. Still, as a beta for what the site would come to be, it was pretty good. I can't say it's perfect, on the contrary. But at the same time, maybe it was too big of a bite for the first review. It's two games in one. I had to review both games at the same time. Yeah, sure, the plot was similar, I mean. The third boss was the same, just fought differently. Then the final boss is just Ripto and Cortez in their machine. So, yeah. It was still fun to write. I did it really quickly. When I'm writing a review, it can take anywhere between 1 day and 1 week. And I usually try to have it to just 1 day. It's easier. 1 or 2, maybe 3 days maximum. It's not that I'm lacking ideas, but sometimes real life ensues and it gets a lot more difficult to keep a writing schedule tight. That's also the reason I'm trying to have 3 reviews written ahead of time. As an example, the review that will come out this Friday, I wrote it like 4 weeks ago. No, really. I wanted to write it so much. Still, I can say that I was satisfied with the result back then. And really, for the first one, it wasn't that bad. Could have been a lot worse too. At the same time, it has let me test out how the reviews would go. I look at the plot, and while I'm looking at the plot, I look at every problem the game has. And also, I point out some of the good stuff. I decided to stick with the formula, which was inspired to me by the likes of Doug Walker, who does the Nostalgia Critic, Louis Lavog, who does Atop the Fourth Wall. Really, I was inspired by all these internet reviewers who look at the plot and then look at every point that is positive or negative in the reviewed work while they're looking at the plot. And then at the end, they come back and give their overall thoughts. So that's the path I chose. I decided to do it in a written way, because at the time I didn't have anything to take video. In fact, I bought this webcam in January. So, yeah, that's it. First review. Could have been worse. Could have been better, but what do you want? It was my first one. So yeah, next! Big Brain Academy DS. When you take a look at the plot, first and foremost, you're gonna wind up with some games that do not have a plot. That makes it difficult to review the plot in the first place. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you have to worry about the plot. Everything else can be reviewed too. The minigames, the playability overall, the controls, the graphics, the music, anything really. The Big Brain Academy, my plan first fell apart, and then I realized I can take a look at every minigame that's in Big Brain Academy and give my overall thoughts on each one. And you know what? It worked. It was my second review, so I still wasn't that precise with what I was doing. Like the first one, it was still a prototype of what the site would become someday. Still, For what it was alright. Desktop Tower Defense, on the other hand. Man, I had trouble writing that review. It's like I wanted to get rid of that one because I knew it was gonna be hard or boring. What can you say about the tower defense game? Usually it doesn't have a plot. Next, this one had so many modes, and I had to look at all of them, and I really didn't want to cut this review in more than one part, because it would have been boring. So I decided, screw it, I'm just gonna look at all the modes and run quickly over all the important stuff, and it's gonna be done. So it's really not my greatest one. I don't even know if there are that many jokes in it, but I'm still happy with how it turned out. Not as happy as for the other two. You can write many great reviews in a row, and then have one that will be dead on arrival. That's how every reviewer goes. You can make many magnificent reviews in a row, and then have one that just elicits a meh from the audience. It's perfectly normal. Even me, I'm writing these reviews. It's not video, so I'm always expecting the response to be weaker, let's say, than if it was a video. Then again, sometimes I just don't have any response. Oh, it's not too bad, yeah, okay, this game is bad. Castle of Shigami 3. I don't like this game. I'm trying. The entire point to my character is that I'm a positive guy. I always see the best in everything. I try to forget the worst. Yeah, that's how I am in real life too. I'm very optimistic. So when I find something that really offends me, you're gonna know. Oh, you're gonna know. Thankfully, Castle of Shigami 3 wasn't that bad. The characters were all Mary Sue's or Gary Stu's. The plot was non-existent, or there was way too many story. 55 plot lines? Really? And I still haven't been able to beat it, by the way. I still haven't been able to complete the damn game once. It's that difficult. What can I say? I'm an average player. Reviewers don't have to be great players. They see if the game can be played at all, usually. With my style of reviewing, it's kinda different, but whatever. In the end, Castle of Shigami 3 was also the first time I used a multi-part review. It had 2 parts. As you know if you've been following the site for a while, multi-part review have become a staple. It's become normal to do those. Because it's much easier to tell the plot over multiple parts, and that way I can really look at every detail I want to look at. And besides, it kind of forces me to say more than I would if I were just to talk about it. So there's that, and every part is still 2,000 words, so back then, even if it was my longest review, it was just 4,000 words. My review of Super Smash Bros. Brawl had 16,000 words. And it was 6 parts. Still, it was very enjoyable to write. It was very fun to laugh at these characters, and I enjoyed that review. Since it was also a prototype. Okay, all the reviews I'm talking about here were prototypes. They were all attempts at doing stuff that I would do later much more efficiently on my blog. It's literally the start. These are the reviews that came out in July and August 2013. At least, Castle of Shigami 3 reassured me that multi-part reviews were a good way to do things. So, I don't care how many parts it takes to write a complete review. In the end, what counts is that I've made you laugh, I've explained everything about the game, I give you an idea of what it's like, if it was the right decision to buy it or not, because I'm just reviewing games I own. But yeah, that's it. It was fun to make fun of this game. Is that a pleonasm? I don't care. Yard Sale, Hidden Treasure, Sunnyvale. My first time reviewing a WiiWare game. As I've learned, WiiWare games tend to be weak in quality. I'm just gonna say that. Still, I was pleasantly surprised by this one. It had a plot. Sort of a plot. It had a lot of funny moments. Seriously, a vampire in a normal world? An alien? A clown? Huh? No, doesn't make sense. Somehow it makes sense in that little world, but to me it doesn't. So, yeah, it was still fun to write, fun to play too, because it's one of the few games I've actually played with my parents every once in a while. I've played this game with my mother. Any game I can do with my parents is simple, but fun. That's the entire point. My parents are really not good with video games. I wouldn't say they suck. My mother has beaten me at bowling at Wii Sports. Yeah, they're not talented in video games. Much less than I am. So, Yourself Hidden Treasures was a fun review to write, like all the others. I enjoyed it, so there. Mario Pinball Land. Oh, when I started the site, I had an idea of which reviews I really wanted to do. I was trying to keep them for important moments, but in the end, the difficult part was to really think of a good idea for each review. For Mario Pinball Land, I knew it was gonna be bad. Mario Pinball Land is horrendous. One of the running gags for the site is that I have an extremely bad luck. Yeah, my luck is really bad. In real life too. Usually I'm playing a game that doesn't require that much luck, and I lose because of that aspect. I'm that unlucky. Wish I was luckier sometimes. But Mario Pinball Land doesn't require luck, but it also requires a lot of strategy and a lot of talent too. You can play the game by using the flipper. You can activate the flippers by pressing LR on the Game Boy Advance, whether it's the regular one or the SP. And I must say that Mario Pinball Land is the game, I suspect, which has broken my L and R buttons on my Game Boy Advance SP. I have a bad track record with L and R buttons, actually. They tend to break with me. I don't know if it's my games or just bad luck. Look, doesn't matter. I always hated Mario Pinball Land. Always. I kept trying to play it, but it was because I wanted to beat that goddamn game. And I found myself incapable of doing so because of my bad luck, my incapacity at doing things right in this bad game. I was about to get vulgar there. It's just a very displeasing experience every time I try to play it again. I never liked this game. I still don't. I never will. I hate everything about it, except the graphics and the music. That's pretty good. Only the aesthetics of a game can't save it. You have to be able to play it. There's a plot. If it's not that bad, it's alright. But yeah, the graphics, the music, that won't save your game. Make sure it's good. Make sure it's playable. Make sure you can have fun with it. Don't make it so difficult that it's annoying. It's not gonna work. People are not gonna like it for this reason. So, I can say that Mario Pinball Land was the first real freakout I had on my site. I don't know if that's a good thing, because I've been getting more and more freakouts as time went on. Maybe I've just been chasing for the most awful games I could find. And thus, it was my first real angry review. Angrier than Castle of Shigami 3 anyway. And it also started another running gag on my site. For some reason, I'm always angry at Mario games, even though I'm a huge fan. I still don't understand that one either. I am a Mario fan! A Mario fan! And still, I get angry at every Mario game. I swear this would be good for the 2nd anniversary. I have to work off of that. We'll see in due time. So this was my first true angry review. As for how it went out, I kinda enjoyed it. I hope you did, if you've read it. I don't know if you have. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my retrospective of July and August 2013 of Planned All Along. I thank you for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too long or too boring. I hope I didn't annoy you with my accent. This Friday, I'm reviewing Anubis 2, a Wii game. To say Anubis 2 is bad is giving bad works a disservice. It's worse than bad. In fact, it might be my angriest, most violent review of all. I've already made videos for it. That was before I grew this beard, so I might not look the same. So stay tuned. Expect a lot of screaming in video. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make a video like this next week too, detailing mostly September and maybe October of 2013 for Planned All Along. So on this I tell you goodbye, and on this I tell you goodbye. Tune in next time.